2 at once? Wow.
Were you expecting this?
Shut up. You're having twins?
Twins? Well, I guess that means double trouble.
So you're going to need 2 of everything?
All right, mic check. Here we are. Friends, I'm Abigail. Welcome to Expecting Times 2. I just want to take a second here to give a shout out to anyone that has a podcast, has launched one, tried to create one, any of the above. Honestly, from an outsider looking in, I thought this is going to be easy. You'll just buy this mic, you'll buy a platform, you'll say some things, you'll publish it, wham, bam. This is hard. I think this is take 492. So hopefully this one makes it to the final edit. I have been wanting to launch a podcast for a very long time. Funny enough, never did I think it would be about being pregnant, first of all, and definitely I did not think it would be about being pregnant with twins. But here we are. We are roughly 8 weeks pregnant with twins. We are in total shock. If that is you as well, we're going to get to that a little later, but I get it. Mom, dad, friend, cousin, sister, grandmother. Whoa, I'm here with you. We're still in the, excuse me, could you repeat that again phase? I love podcasts. When I was pregnant with my first son, I was a podcast queen. I kind of went to podcasts and books to find all the knowledge rather than my peers. I love my group of friends, my colleagues, all the above, but I felt like I just kept hearing like all the bad that was going to happen. Like, well, you just wait or wait till this happens. And when I turned to podcasts and books, I always like felt happier and I was laughing a lot. So when we found out we were having twins, I went down like a 24-hour rabbit hole of researching podcasts and like different comedians and books. And I gotta be honest, my anxiety and all my worries were only increased after I did that. I feel like a lot of the places I turned, I was being told about all the worst things that could happen. There are some great resources out there. I don't want to cut anyone down, but I was like, damn, this feels a little bit overwhelming and a little bit sad. So honestly, I just am launching this podcast, hopefully to find some humor with other people, for other people, if nothing else, than for myself as I embark on this wild journey. So yeah, that's what you can expect in this podcast. I want to laugh through it all. Of course, we will talk about the nitty gritty. I'm not a doctor. I just want to be very clear about that up front. I have no medical degree whatsoever. But yeah, I just thought this would be a fun way to get through this together. So if you are a mom expecting, a dad, a partner, maybe you're going through IVF and they've told you twins are a huge possibility. Maybe you're just a sister, a friend, or maybe you're just curious about twin pregnancies. Super excited that you're here. We're in this together. I feel like it takes a community and a support system to be pregnant. Just to share a little bit of our backstory, I met my now husband, his name is Ryan, roughly 2 years ago. And within about 3 months of dating each other, I think we both, like, a little light bulb went off and we were like, oh, you're really fun. Like, let's do this shit together. Let's do life together. So things moved pretty quick for Ryan and I. We'd been together 9 months when we found out we were pregnant with my son, Jude. And very funny, we were skiing. I don't know. Well, now I can laugh about it. I couldn't laugh about it at the time, but we were skiing in Colorado and I was like finally getting really good. I kind of thought I was like hot shit. I did like my first black diamond day, big old powder day. And on the way back to the car, I got lazy, as one does, and I tore my ACL on a catwalk. I think it was, about 2 days after that. Again, didn't think I was pregnant. About 2 days after that, I went and had an MRI, and I thought, gosh, I should probably just like take a pregnancy test before this MRI. My husband was in DC for work. Took the pregnancy test. It was positive. And I thought, well, surely my ACL is not going to be torn. This is just like a bad sprain. Nope. ACL was fully blown. So my husband walks in the door from his trip to DC. I've made this nice dinner, well, attempted to, while on crutches. And, you know, he's like sitting there cutting his like chicken Vesuvia. And I'm like, yeah, babe, I fully blew my ACL. The whole thing's torn, not even partial. She gone. And he's like, oh, babe, I'm so sorry. You know, he's like, gosh, could you imagine if you were pregnant? And I'm like, yep, I am. So my husband got to find out we were pregnant in complete shock 2 different times now, which is so funny because like in the movies, they're both like standing outside the bathroom door, you know, and they're waiting to look at the test together. And then she jumps into his arms and gives him a big kiss and he twirls her around. And no, we did not have that experience with either of ours. Both time we found out we were pregnant, my poor husband, it was like, what? But you know, baby, if you're listening to this, that's what you get for marrying a Leo lion. Always keeping you on your toes. Never a dull moment. Always likes to make a dramatic entrance. So I went through my entire first pregnancy with a blown ACL because they could not repair it. It was just too risky to repair it while I was pregnant because I am a geriatric pregnancy. Which, P.S., if that's you too, I blah blah on that word. Like I want to just remove it. I want to banish it. Can't we think of a different word for this? I mean, geriatric pregnancy. That's the best we can come up with. Like, sorry, I didn't get pregnant when I was like 21, running around New York City, being a total idiot. Sorry, I waited until I was older and I met the right person and I was a little bit more financially prepared. So if that's you, blah, 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 blah to that word. Whatever. We'll talk about what it means to have a geriatric pregnancy and different things that we have to do. But I think we should pat ourselves on the back. I think a geriatric pregnancy means you made it through without getting pregnant with someone you were probably not supposed to be with. And you were wise. And now you're an old soul. And now you're actually ready to be a parent. So that is my take on it. So yes, we got pregnant with our son after 9 months. So funny, we are finding out we are having another, well, now we're having 2 before we've even been together for 2 years. We actually just got married in January. Our wedding date was 1/11 at 11:11 a.m. That if that doesn't describe who I am to a T. I am a Leo lion. I love numbers. I love anything with 1 and 3. So yes, I literally said to my husband, I'm walking down the aisle at 11:11 a.m. and we're signing our paperwork. And I was not like bridezilla, but I was like, I don't care who does not get there in time. I don't care. At 11:11, we're getting married. Anyways, we did. It all worked out good. But yeah, we delivered our son, Jude, in August. So like I said, he's about 7 months old right now. And yeah, we had a pretty good delivery. I mean, I'm not going to get into that story because it's totally irrelevant to being pregnant with twins. Maybe we'll talk about it down the line. I know my doctor's already like, what are you thinking for this birth? I'm like, this birth? Like, I'm still processing being pregnant. Definitely have not thought about them actually coming out yet. I'm still in the phase of like, wait, are they really in there? Like, they're in there? Like, do we need to check again? Are we sure there's 2? That's where I'm at. So haven't crossed my mind about the whole they're going to be coming out phase. Yeah, haven't gotten there yet. I'm not going to lie, being pregnant in general was not my favorite thing. I think it's really beautiful when I meet these women that just really embraced it. They're like, yeah, you know, I just like feel like I connected deeper with my soul. I became more nurturing and patient. You know, I felt so beautiful inside and out. I'm like, how did you do that? Because that was not me. I had a very easy pregnancy, thank God, but it just wasn't my thing. I was like hot, uncomfortable. I was so sick of nothing ever fitting me. I was just like, man, this isn't for me. So now I think it's I think it's funny that I'm doing it again, because that's what happens, right? Like you get pregnant, you have a baby, and then you totally get amnesia. It's like something God does. It's like that little baby turns 3 months old and you're like, what do you mean, honey? I loved being pregnant. What do you mean that birth was amazing? What do you mean? I loved it all. You totally forget. And then if your partner is anything like mine, he's like, hold the brakes. You did not like being pregnant. Your head was in a toilet. Your birth story was wild. And you're like, no, babe, you're not remembering it. I was like always rubbing my belly and I just felt so at home in my own body. My husband Ryan's going to listen to this and laugh because that's totally me. I'm like, no, I loved it all. He's like, okay. But he doesn't have any evidence. He has no evidence. We never recorded me being unhappy with being pregnant. So anyways, loved the end result though. I've loved being a mom. So my husband and I, when our son turned about 5 months old, we kind of had this discussion of like, should we just do this again? We're already in the thick of it. We're in the diaper phase. We don't really do much because our son loves to sleep, which I feel very fortunate about, but he kind of is on a schedule we like to keep to. So we're like, let's just do it. Let's just knock it all out. We got pregnant pretty quick. By the grace of God, if you are having trouble getting pregnant or know anyone that does, like, I'm sending you all my love and my good vibes, because I know that's hard to hear when someone's really struggling and someone else is like, yeah, it just happened right away. So all the love to you, or your friend or whoever it may be. But yes, we got pregnant pretty quick. So the end of January, my husband and I were going on a trip to California. That was my Christmas present to him. And I was like, God, do I pack tampons? Like, I think I'm going to start my period in like a day or two. If you're a lady listening to this, like, you get it. When you're going on a vacation and you're about to have your period, you pack totally different things. Like, you just do. You're like, nope, going to be packing these full butt underwear from 1990, these sweatpants that are almost offensive to leave the house in. Like, you just pack differently. You're like, I need my heating pad, I need my tampons, I need my Midol, and then I need 4 French horns in case I get a headache. Anyway, so I took the pregnancy test. I glanced at it and I thought it was negative, and I was like, okay, well, guess I'll go pack all my stuff. Went and made the coffee, just started our normal day. Went back to grab it to throw it in the trash, and I looked down again and it was positive, and I was a little like, oh, okay, well, that was quick, but let me go upstairs, bring my husband a big cup of coffee and let him know, wham, bam, here we go again. Brought it upstairs to him. I think we both kind of had a laugh, like, okay, well, that was quick, but sweet. This is what we wanted. Let's just get it over with. For about 2 weeks, I felt awful, like head in a toilet all the time, no energy, super emotional, hormonal. My back was hurting. I just had a lot of, I think, what's normal pregnancy symptoms. Just I was very fortunate to bypass those with my son. So my rationale was, oh, it's just a girl. Obviously it's a girl. This pregnancy is different. That must be it. Never once did it cross my mind that we had twins. And what's funny about this is twins do run in my family on both sides, my father and my mother's side. And they have been saying to me, I swear forever, like, you could have twins, you could have twins. And I was like, yeah, like, I'm not going to have twins. I hardly know anyone with twins. My 2 best friends are twins, that I will say, but those are like the only twins in my life. Should have listened to my mom. Should have listened to her when she was like, honey, I really think you're going to have twins, and twins run in the family. My husband and I were laughing the other day because he goes, yeah, I remember when your mom, once we were pretty seriously dating, my mom mentioned to him, Ryan, twins run in the family. And Ryan goes, even I was like, yeah, Connie, like, all right, sounds good. But so we called the doctor. We scheduled our 8-week appointment. And when I got there, my first question to her was like, are you mad at me? Because, I was advised to wait a year before getting pregnant again. But my body honestly just felt ready, or maybe I just was projecting that. So when we got there, we were pretty laid back, pretty casual. We're like, we've done this before. All right, we're going to we're going to do some blood work. They're going to take a urine sample. We'll do a quick ultrasound. She'll say, yep, you're good to go. And then we'll come back in a few weeks. So I'm laying back. My husband's like holding my son. I think he might even have been like checking an email. We're just super cash. And I see my doctor, who I love. Like, I want to be friends with her so bad. I want to say like, hey, do you want to come over for dinner and be friends? Or do you want to do a Pilates class? I haven't done that yet, though. Haven't gotten the nerve to ask her. But like our rapport, is that the word? Rapport? Like our banter is really good and she's really funny. And I feel like we just get each other. So of course we have a professional relationship, but she's never like, hello, good to see you. How are you feeling? Like she always gives me a hug and she asked me about Jude and we laugh about things. So anyways, I see her bite her bottom lip and kind of do a smirk. And I looked at her and right away I said, is there two of them? Which is so funny that was my first reaction. Because again, didn't think twins were in there. Didn't think it was a 2-for-1 situation. And she nodded. And my husband shoots his head up. And he's like, wait, what? She repeats herself. She goes, yep, there's 2 babies. And my way of handling things when either I'm in an awkward situation or I'm kind of stressed or I don't know how to react is just by laughing. Like laughing really hard. You would think like, oh, that's so great. Because then when you're like in tough situations, you're laughing. No, I'm like the awkward one laughing like at a funeral or when someone gets fired because I just don't know what to do. So that was me. I was just laying back laughing so hard I think I had tears coming down my face. Meanwhile, my husband might have also had tears coming down his face, but for different reasons. I think he even said like, shut the F up. And yeah, she just kind of looked at us. She's like, are you guys okay? I'm going to step out of the room and, give you guys a minute. And once I stopped laughing, well, since I have stopped laughing, so now for a few days, we're just in shock. We're in complete shock. If that's you right now, mama, give yourself some grace. This is a big, big announcement for a doctor to say to you. Like, this is a lot. I feel like our worlds just kind of got flipped upside down. I know the excitement part's going to come, or I'm hoping it's going to come very soon. Whew. But right now, we're kind of just in the quiet phase. My husband did a couple laps around the doctor's office. I just kind of sat there in peace and quiet by myself, didn't even look at my phone, was just like, okay, I need to just take this moment in. And like random people at the doctor's office were coming up. They're like, congratulations, we never get twins. And I was like, uh-huh. Like, I think the doctor office might be worried about us. But yeah, it's a lot to take in. We're just in the shock phase. We're just kind of like, okay, we got to process this now. Of course, my brain is going to like, are the babies healthy? Can I physically do this? Being pregnant with one was a lot. It's a lot physically. I'm like, can I physically do it? Can I mentally do it? Like right away, I'm like, we have to buy a new car. Okay, we have to move. We just bought a house. Now we got to move again. Like my brain I'm spiraling. I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to get to go to Europe again. I'm never going to be able to take a flight again without like a full live-in nanny there and my husband and maybe like a flight attendant in between us. There's a lot of things going through my head right now and I'm trying to control those things. If you are too, it's hard. I'm all about like creating a wonderful, safe, like positive space in my body for a baby, now babies, to grow. But I'm like, all right, that's gonna come. Right now I'm living on banana nut crunch cereal and any carbohydrate possible. It's like all I can get my hands on right now. Typically, unfortunately, it comes back out. But I'm just living on carbs, cereal, and a couple fun shows on Netflix. Okay, so let's talk about some to-dos in case you're also in the shock phase right now and you're like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? And a couple cool things. Hopefully by now you have already booked an appointment with a gynecologist or picked your preferred gynecologist. And hopefully had a meet and greet with them. Again, I love my doctor. If you don't, I highly encourage you right now to find a different one. You are going to see this person a lot. I've already been told that with twins, I should expect to be in that office everywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how things progress. You want to like your doctor. You want to like the front desk girl. You want to like the nurses. You want to like everyone that you have to deal with. That's so important. So if you're hesitant and you're like, I don't know, like I met my doctor, just like our energies didn't vibe, or I felt like she was really racing, like go find another one. Ask a friend for a recommendation, go online, look at a forum. I'm a big believer that having a good relationship with your doctor just really will ease you through the process of pregnancy, and also with the nurses. I know in my first pregnancy, a lot of times I was with the nurse and not the doctor. I think I can't remember exactly, but maybe every 6 weeks I saw the doctor, but every 3 to 4 I saw the nurse. And I just love all of the nurses at my doctor's office. So give yourself that, that's one less thing you should be stressed about is, not vibing with your doctor. I had to call a lot. I had a lot of questions with my first pregnancy. I mean, not a lot. I feel like I'm being dramatic, typical Leo. But yeah, you're going to be reaching out with questions and you're going to want them to be like, oh, don't worry, honey. No worry that you called, or let me connect you to someone that can help you answer that. You don't want someone that's like, oh, you just don't want attitude. You don't need that right now. So that would be my number one recommendation for anyone, or to-do task at this phase. Find a doctor in an office and make sure you vibe with them. This might sound silly to some people, but for me, I also wanted an office that had easy parking. We live in Denver. It's a busy city, not as busy, of course, as New York or LA or Miami, but it's busy. I did not want to drive downtown Denver, drive around for metered parking, or have to find a parking garage. I'm like, no, I want ease. I want comfort. I want to pull in. I want to park, and I want to walk to an elevator and go right upstairs. Maybe that doesn't matter to you. Maybe you're like, no, I want to get my steps. Just something to think about as we're going to get possibly a little bit uncomfortable carrying two little nuggets. Okay, something really cool that I'm focusing on that I think about every night before I go to bed is really only 3% of women have twins. 3%. Just think about that for a second. 3% of women have twins. So again, I'm trying to move to the positive miracle phase of this and out of the shock phase, but that is amazing. That really is amazing. That's a miracle. That's something super beautiful to celebrate. I encourage you tonight, maybe in the morning over coffee, whenever you feel at your best, just take a moment, close your eyes, and just think about that. Just think about the fact that your body is creating a home for 2 little babies, and only 3% of women are doing that. When I start to feel the panic come on, or the oh my God, we need to do this, I just take a moment and I'm like, stop. You can do this. Yes, only 3% of women have done this, but hey, it's amazing what your body is doing. I think that that's really important to remember, and just to honor your body right now. It's amazing that it's building a home for 2 little babies. Okay, a couple of fun facts about little nuggets around 8 weeks. Their hearts are pumping blood, and their heartbeats will probably be around 150, if not higher, beats per minute. That's pretty cool. They have little heartbeats. Their lungs are beginning to form this week. Their arms and legs are beginning to bud, and their sex organs are forming as well. That's so cool. Like, I picture them still as like two tiny little like sprinkles in my belly, but they're not. Right now they are the size of raspberries. I don't do math. I don't do the whole like your baby is 1/8 of an inch. I'm like, what? Can you talk to me in like food? So they're roughly raspberries this week, right around 8 weeks. Each baby is hopefully surrounded by its own sac and has its own placenta. I don't know if your doctor talked to you about this, if you've gone in yet, but we definitely talked about how some twins will share a placenta, and in rare cases, they'll share a placenta and a sac. And my doctor had kind of expressed that will determine the road in which we go down. Like, okay, are they identical? Do they share a sac? Do they share a placenta? That changes your risk factors for all these different things. But again, those aren't like the fun things to talk about if that is you or if that's me, or if we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, don't worry about placentas and sacs. Like, you can't control it. Your body's going to do what your body's going to do. So again, just focus on the miracle of it. So a little something funny that I'm going to admit, I debated admitting. I know nothing about twins. I know nothing about twins. I literally thought there was 3 types of twins. I thought there was identical twins, fraternal twins, and paternal twins. No idea where I came up with this paternal twins thing. And I think when I was at the doctor's office, I might have even said to her, wait, do you already know if they're identical, fraternal, or paternal? And because she's so sweet, she was just like, no, we don't yet know if they're identical or fraternal. So that's how much I know about twins. I have a lot to learn. All right, twin mamas, that's all I got for this episode. I will have more interesting things, more to say. We'll have some cool speakers come on. I just got to get through the shock phase right now and also just start feeling better. If you're also like blah and you're not feeling good, I'm so sorry. I don't know why they call it morning sickness. They should call it 24/7 sickness, or really like 23-hour sickness with 1 hour of goodness. That way you're just a little bit more prepared. If someone would have said to me, oh, honey, you're going to be sick for 23 hours a day, but don't worry, you'll get 1 good hour, I feel like I would have been a little bit more mentally prepared for this. But I just thought morning sickness was like, oh, a little drool in the morning, maybe one time throwing up. But no. Oh, this is different. So yeah, I'm feeling different. If you've never been pregnant before and you're going through all of this for the first time and you're like, is this normal? I learned in my first pregnancy, everything is normal. Like, it's so weird. I'm like, wait, I have like blue snot coming out of my nose. Is this normal? They're like, yeah, honey. I'm like, okay. I'm like, my feet are like killing me. And, my hips, like, man, some days I have to use a walker. Is this normal? Yes, honey. I feel like it would be more useful to know like the absolutes, like this is not normal. And they don't have to be like this extreme situation where they're like, if this happens, like if you are bleeding out of your nipples and your toes start gushing purple, then come to the hospital. Like, I just want to know, like, this is something that might not be normal, because I feel like every time I reached out to my doctor, I went to a podcast or a forum or a book about being pregnant, everyone was like, yeah, that's normal. I will say in my first pregnancy and also in this pregnancy, the craving for cereal is, it's at a all-time high. I think prior to being pregnant, like since I turned, 25, I maybe collectively had 10 bowls of cereal. Now I'm averaging about 3 a day. 3 a day. Yeah, really, really proud of that one. If you've been pregnant before and you're like, damn, here we go again, but this one feels different, I feel you too. It's going to feel different. I think it just feels different with 2. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Like, all right, it's going to get better. The nausea is going to go away, but it's just different with 2. All right, friends, take care of yourselves. Remember your big to do. Make sure you have a doctor that you love, and don't be afraid to shop around. I think I forgot to mention this earlier. A lot of doctors' offices, if you call and you just say, like, hey, I'm trying to establish a relationship with a new doctor, that they actually, I don't know, like the official name of them, but without you actually having to book an appointment and go through testing and blah, 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 like you might actually be able to do like a meet and greet. I know I had a friend, I lucked out by loving my doctor right away, but I did have a friend that kind of had to shop around. And I think like once a week, they have like a 15-minute period where you can come, you can see the office. You might not meet with the doctor, but you'll meet with someone on the team, even like a nurse or something. So don't be afraid to ask that question. And I also think you should say, you know, I'm pregnant with twins. Is this something your office feels comfortable handling? I would guess most offices are. But again, because only 3% of women are pregnant with twins, I know that was important to us. We wanted to make sure that the hospital that my doctor delivers at, while we have not gotten to delivery yet, just has, like, they're ready for twins. They have a good system. And lastly, phone a friend. Phone a friend. Tell them you're in shock, but also just be like, hey, can you pick me up and take me out for a coffee? Or can we go get our toes done? Or can we just walk around the block? Or can you just come over while I cry to you about all the things I'm worried about? Phone a friend. Phone a funny friend. I phoned a funny friend and I was like, hey, so not feeling so funny today. Help me out here. But it will make you feel better. All right, guys. See you next week.